Hey, all my future buyers and sellers out there. I am here to teach you more than you knew before about the real estate process. And today I'm going to cure you of all the curiosity that you've held over the years about what exactly happens after a deal gets mutual acceptance. I'm talking about when the buyer and seller agree to their terms and move forward with the deal. And all the milestones along the way that you hit before closing. So let the timeline begin. Hey, it's Ella with Ella Estate Realty, and welcome back to my channel where I give you all the tips, hints, and hacks you can handle about real estate. If you're new, feel free to stay a while and absorb as much real estate knowledge as possible. If you're returning, I appreciate your loyalty, but both you audiences can give me some love with some likes to keep my video positive. Without further ado, today's topic is going over all the things you should expect to encounter as you're getting closer to closing after you get mutual acceptance. So we're going over 2 things to keep in mind and 10 things that you'll encounter. So let's get this list rolling. Right, I'm kicking off the list with number 1, which is don't celebrate too early. Unfortunately, it's with a bittersweet nature that I introduced this one, but it is true. I want you to keep in mind that it may seem like the end of the race, you just put in your offer and now you have a house, but really there's so many different things that could happen, obstacles, positive and negative along the way that could change your mind, and I just don't want your expectations let down. I don't want you to be scarred from this, just in case this one doesn't work out and you have to move on to a different house. So just save all your partying it up and throwing down for when you get the keys. So number 2 is getting all of your real estate people involved in the transaction together. I'm not talking about having one giant team meeting, over dinner, but you need to make time to talk with each and every person involved in the transaction as soon as possible. Hopefully your trusted real estate agent is setting this up for you and coordinating this, but I want them to be going over all the deadlines and contingencies and fine print that you need to know about that's within that contract, just in case you missed anything or read over it a little too fast. You need to know when you need to schedule the inspection, when things are due, like earnest money, all those things, and have them programmed in your calendar even to make sure that you are implementing time is of the essence mentality, making sure these things are getting done, because if they aren't, it is written in the contract that you will no longer have those safeguards of those contingencies or whatever's in the contract. So make sure you know the fine print, make sure you're talking to all the professionals and you're laying out that plan and deadlines. Number 3 is depositing earnest money. Generally, this happens within the first couple days of the contract, whether your agent or your lawyer or whoever is involved specifies a different date. You want to be aware of that, have those deadlines written down, but you need to make this deposit. It is one of the first check marks on the list. You need to make sure that the money is transferable, that you're in communication with everybody so it'll be smooth, and that you actually have the money in the account that you're taking it out from. Generally, it's a larger amount, so we just want to make sure that you're aware that it is due within a couple days, and rule of thumb is usually 1% to 3% of your listing price, so just know that that is due earlier on in the process and be aware. Number 4 up on the list is scheduling the home inspection. This is a fun one because sometimes you can waive this, sometimes you can extend how many days until the inspection, but it's generally between 5, 7, and 10 days after you get mutual acceptance. So you want to schedule this in a timely manner. You want to make sure that you're not waiting until the last day to get the inspection and then review it and then try to put in your negotiations of this, and this was wrong and needs to be repaired. What happens if your inspector gets sick? What happens if they cancel last minute, or you're not able to do all those things? It's just going to fluster you. So you want to get it scheduled as soon as possible with somebody that you trust, that you can depend on, and get them in there so they can give you all the information about the house back to you as soon as possible and you can move forward. Number 5 is being aware of the HOA and restrictions and conditions of the property you're moving into. Making sure that the purpose that you have intended for this property is executable within that space. For example, you see home buyers move into spaces thinking that they'll be able to rent it out, and they didn't realize that their financing won't allow that, or that HOAs or somebody in the neighborhood, it's not deemable, you're not able to do that. Or maybe you have an abundance of pets and there's a cap on how many pets you can have in a condo. All this, you just want to make sure that you're getting into the right property that meets your needs instead of assuming that no matter what, it'll be exactly what you want it to be. Some of these are more chronological, but number 6 is always keeping in contact with your lender, and I want you to keep this in mind at all times. One of the biggest reasons why deals fall apart is financing, and that has to do with submitting all the right paperwork and documentation to your lender in a timely manner, keeping in communication. Maybe buying your house isn't the exact time that you want to go out of town where you won't have any Wi-Fi and you can't sign documents electronically. Or, taking 3 days to get back to emails, because everything does have deadlines. Keeping it moving along smoothly is something that you really want to keep in mind to just cause less stress overall. Number 7 is talking to your insurance agent. Now, when you are setting out to buy a new house, what do you need to do? Insure it. Who do you need to talk to? Your insurance agent. So you need to make sure you know exactly how much it's going to cost you. Now, whether you're reaching out to your neighborhood insurance agent that already has your car and your rental policies, or you're shopping around to making sure you're getting the best price, that's something that's left up to you. I would suggest always to shop around, make sure they're meeting all your needs, making sure they're meeting all your lender's needs, and getting that final annual fee estimation. So just so everybody knows, and I've mentioned it before, but at the closing, you are actually paying for an annual fee of insurance instead of monthly or 6 months like you're usually used to. So to know exactly what that is and making sure you're getting the best rates can only benefit you at the end. Number 8 is knowing the estimation of your closing costs. You usually get this with a lender. They can give you a rough estimation of things that you might incur. You should also receive this from the title company, where it's going over everything, all the expenses that you will incur. I want you to be able to review this either with the title company or with your trusted real estate agent for them to go line by line through everything. It's not meant to be a stressful process. It in fact is meant to do the opposite, where it keeps you informed and keeps you knowing what to expect. So when you get those bills for different things, you know exactly why you're getting them. Number 9 is knowing everything about the appraisal. So that's going to get scheduled not through your real estate agent and not through you personally, but through your lender, depending on what kind of financing you're going about getting. This is to ensure, how much the bank is putting their risk out there, but also to tell you how much the house is actually worth that you put your bid in on, your offer. Make sure that it's appropriate. To move past that, once you get it back, and if it's under or over, then you can negotiate accordingly. This does open up a new can of worms to encounter, but it can be good. It can be to your benefit, or you can just, agree to disagree and move forward, but you do want to be in the know about this number. Number 10, the final number, is the final walkthrough. You want to schedule this with your trusted real estate agent and make sure that it's on your books a week to 10 days before the actual closing day, if you can make that work. You don't want to wait until the last day to schedule a walkthrough as you're walking over to sign the final paperwork and a pipe bursts, or there's some additional damage from their pets that wasn't originally specified when you did your bidding and put in your offer, or after the repairs were done. You want to make sure that it's in the condition that you agreed to purchase it in, and if something does arise, that you have time enough before the agreed upon closing date that you're able to negotiate and fix that. If not, then you're just extending the closing date, and it's just sad, honestly. So make sure that when you're getting those keys, everything is taken care of, all the T's are crossed and the I's are dots, and all you have left to do is move in. The 2 mindsets that I wanted to touch base on that I think you should keep in mind through this whole transaction, from mutual acceptance to getting the keys and closing the deal, would be, number 1, be logical over emotional. This is an emotional roller coaster, and I promise you, you'll have your ups and downs, but I want you to keep your wits about you. Know your deadlines, keep things in mind, make sure that you're keeping a list of things that you want to accomplish along the way, that it's not getting out of sorts, that you have help from all the people involved in the transaction, that they're mediating it all so you don't get overwhelmed and stressed out and back out or anything like that. It should be a smooth process if everybody involved is working together. And that leads me to number 2 is communication is key. And whether you're talking to your real estate agent consistently, your lender, your attorney, title company, or escrow, you want them to all be in communication with another, and especially you. You want to make sure that you're signing everything that you need to in a timely manner. If not, you're wasting everybody's time. If not, you could miss deadlines. If not, you're just being pretty much rude. You know, you want to make sure that the deal's coming together because all these people are involved trying to make it work. Don't be the thing that stops it from coming together. And don't, like I said before earlier in the video, leave on vacation, be unreachable, not text or call because you're getting cold feet. Just communicate all your feelings along the way and make sure everybody else is talking to one another to execute the deal as smoothly as possible. After 10 things to expect and 2 things to keep in mind, I feel like you're more informed than before. But if you are not, if I missed anything, let me know in the comments down below. Also, let me know which one you didn't really realize happened or needed to be aware of. And if none of that works, just leave me some love with some likes. As for today's video, I appreciate every single one of you for watching. Honestly, I put a lot of work into these videos, but overall, I'm here to serve you. So, my name's Ella with Ella Estate Realty, and I hope you're having a dandy day.